When I was in the sixth grade, I hit the ball the exact same distance as I do now. The reason I'm telling you this is that distance is absolutely not about strength or being tall. Today, I'm going to show you the perfect way to increase your driver distance. If you do it the way I did, you can easily hit it far. So I hope you watch today's video to the end. Today, don't think too much about your body, and let's focus as much as possible on increasing the speed of this head. Most people who don't get speed try to grip it and make their hands move really fast. Let me try hitting the ball that way. I hit the ball using only the strength in my grip. In other words, I hit the ball with just hand strength. For the second one, likewise, instead of grip strength, let's try hitting the ball using this head. Similarly, I put as much speed as possible into this head. And just like that, the distance increases by almost 30 meters. In the end, it's about how to use this head to generate speed. You have to throw this head, not your hands, to get unbelievable speed. The key here is that your left hip has to hold back to some extent for this head to spring forward. Right now, we have Tiger Woods' swing on the side. And when Tiger Woods impacts with his driver, his left thigh is almost half a thigh or a full thigh further to the left than at address. If you throw this club correctly, watch how this head is thrown. I put the brakes on the left side, and when I let go of the head in this state, the head is thrown incredibly straight. This feeling right now is what it feels like to throw the head in golf. Most people can't throw the head and try to throw it by pushing their hands like this, but in reality, the left side breaks to some extent and the head is thrown with a thump feeling. My hands aren't moving that busily, but the head has this springing out feeling. The reason most people can't throw it is because their left side clears out too quickly and their weight is on their right foot when they swing. So the club isn't thrown at all, but gets pulled to the left, moving opposite to the feeling of throwing. In other words, if you look at my right side after impact, there's a feeling of my right side stretching out like this, and my left hip moving slightly diagonally, sideways. But for most people, this hip pulls back or drops down at impact. The left wall must absolutely go past the ball, or at least reach the ball. If the left hip pulls back, the arms will definitely pull back. And because you're generating speed with hand strength instead of this head, you won't get distance. So the first thing you need to remember is the feeling of the hip passing the ball as you hit. Now, if we hit like this, there's a first problem that arises. Because we're trying to push the hip sideways, the upper body tries to go with it. With the upper body forward, even if you throw, you can't get power. Keep your head still, push your hip to the side, and throw. This feeling is the first important feeling. So what I want to tell you is, don't keep worrying about body rotation, but swing with the feeling of leaning against a left wall. The second part is, if we think about the driver, the downswing is incredibly fast. It's probably only about 0.01 seconds, maybe 0.1 seconds. It's a very fast moment. So, if we release at the same timing on the downswing as we do with an iron, the head will never release. Since you'll end up dragging your hands all the way to the ball, when we release, we need to have the image of throwing the ball to the side. That way, the path comes slightly from the inside, giving us the timing to release. Instead of feeling like you're throwing from top to bottom, with the driver, you throw from the side. At this point, if you throw it normally to the side, the head goes straight out. Right? But if you watch most people here, they end up throwing the club this way. In other words, instead of feeling like they're throwing to the side, most people either come over the top like this, or their release timing is too slow. Because of that, at the point where they should be letting go and releasing the head, they drag the club in further and then release, which is why the head goes all the way to the left. Our image when throwing the club, rather than throwing it straight, is much more advantageous to image throwing it slightly more toward the right sky. So The feeling of throwing is throwing to the side. The timing of the throw is important, and you throw the head as much as possible toward your right foot. And you have to keep holding that image in your mind. Once your hands have come down quickly to some extent, after that, you must have this image of the head springing out to be able to hit it straight and far. First, let me show you the style of hitting the ball using only grip strength. I'll hit it as hard as possible. I hit it very quickly using only grip strength, and the distance came out to 220 meters. This time, if I hit the ball with a bit more ease, using this head to get that thrown feeling. I just tapped and threw it here, and the distance came out almost 280 meters. Of course, I know very well that you won't get the feeling right away just by watching this video and trying to follow this lesson. I also made countless attempts trying this and that to get this feeling and find my own way, and that feeling is what I'm teaching you today. You have to block with the left wall. Second, at the timing of throwing the head, you have to know the feeling of the head springing out. Third, instead of holding the ball and hitting from top to bottom, you must have the feeling of throwing the head way out there. With these three feelings, I kept researching and practicing, and that kid, who wasn't even 160 centimeters tall, ended up getting a driver distance of almost 300 yards. I think it will really help if you also pay attention to this part and practice. Well, that's it for today's lesson. Have a great day today, and I'll see you in the next commute lesson. Thank you.